James had never been a fan of organizing his files, but a rainy Sunday left him bored enough to finally sort through years of vacation photos. He smiled as he flipped through shots of cherry blossoms in Tokyo, hazy sunsets in Santorini, rainy cobblestone alleys in Prague. Then he saw it. In a photo taken in Shibuya Crossing, one of hundreds he'd barely glanced at, a tall man stood completely still in the background. Among hundreds of blurred faces in motion, he was the only one clear, facing the camera. Expressionless, coat too long, eyes sharp, locked directly on the lens. James frowned, zoomed in. The figure wasn't close, maybe across the street, but he stood out like he didn't belong. A strange stillness in a sea of movement. Out of curiosity, James opened a folder from a trip to Paris 3 years earlier. Another crowd photo, this one outside the Louvre. And there he was again. Same height, same presence, different coat, same gaze, right at the camera. Goosebumps rose on James's arms. He opened another set, Berlin, then Morocco, then New York. In every city, every year, buried in the chaos of background faces, he was there, unmoving, unchanging, watching. James couldn't sleep. His laptop screen cast a cold glow across the room as he scanned photo after photo, eyes darting to the edges, the corners, the shadows. There he was again, behind a tree in Copenhagen, reflected in a bus window in Toronto, half concealed by a crowd in Seoul, always facing the camera, never blinking, never closer than a dozen yards, but always present. It couldn't be real. It had to be coincidence, a look-alike, a tourist, a trick of the light. But James knew faces, and this one, this man's face, was the same. He uploaded a collage of the images to a forum, asking if anyone recognized the man. Stranger keeps showing up in my travel photos. Any idea who this is? Most replies were jokes, until one came through that made his chest tighten. He's in mine too. James clicked the user's profile. Dozens of posts, different countries, different years, different people, all with the same man standing in the background. James scrolled down to the most recent image. The user had posted it an hour ago. It was James, in a cafe, taken through the window. The stranger standing just outside, facing the glass. James slammed the laptop shut. His heart was pounding so hard it echoed in his ears. That cafe photo, he remembered being there, just last week, alone. No one had been outside the window. He was sure of it. But now the stranger wasn't just in past photos. He was here. Now, over the next few days, James started seeing him in real life. Once on the opposite platform of a train station, standing perfectly still as the train rushed past. Once half hidden in the reflection of a shop window in the city center. Every time James turned to look, the man was gone. Paranoia set in. He stopped leaving the house, pulled the curtains, unplugged his phone. But one morning he woke to something impossible. His phone, left untouched on his bedside table, was open to the camera roll. A new photo had appeared. He hadn't taken it. It was a shot of his backyard, taken from just beyond the fence. The man was there again, closer this time. Later that night, he checked the front door, locked, but on the doormat sat an envelope. No stamp, no name. Inside was a single photo, James sleeping in bed, and the man standing at the foot of it. James didn't sleep after that. He nailed the windows shut, dragged furniture against every door, and placed knives under his pillows. The photo wouldn't leave his hand. It showed him asleep. He stared at it for hours, trying to see how it could be faked. The angle was from inside the room, from the corner, right where his mirror stood. He covered the mirror, disconnected every camera. But the silence that followed was worse. Then, at 3:03 a.m., the knock came. Not loud, not hurried, just one deliberate knock on the front door. James froze. It didn't happen again. No footsteps, no shadow under the door, just that one sound. And when he finally worked up the courage to look, there was nothing outside, no one in sight. But something was there. A photo lying face up on the doormat. Another shot of James, taken from inside the room. But this time his eyes were open, and the man's hand was on his shoulder. James shut himself off from the world. No internet, no photos, no mirrors, no lights. He covered every screen, broke every reflective surface. But the man still found ways to appear. In puddles after rain, in the reflection of James's own eyes, in the television, even when unplugged. Then came the final photo, tucked under his pillow, a childhood picture. James at 8 years old, smiling in front of a school building, and in the distance, almost too small to notice, the man stood at the fence line, watching. He had always been there. That night, James turned all the lights off, sat in silence. He felt a presence behind him, familiar, heavy, patient. When he looked into the black screen of his turned-off phone, he saw himself staring back. But over his shoulder, the man was no longer smiling. He was reaching in,